It's been some time since I did a Cardano video, and I think the short-term price action on this Cardano daily chart, I think it's a good time to do an update on Cardano price. And it's not so much the daily chart. It's actually what's happening on the weekly chart that I really want to discuss in this video. So please hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let's just jump right into this technical analysis video about ADA. I want to start zoomed out, and I actually want to start with this post I did on X. Analyst predicts 8,500% rally for Cardano to reach $31 as indicators turn bullish. This is me posting saying this wasn't me. The article, News BTC, saying this was me that said this. I did not say it. And I'll go even further to say, I do not think this cycle, ADA, will reach $31. But in this video, I'm going to break down what I think is realistic for ADA to reach. So let's do this. We'll start on the weekly. We'll discuss where I think ADA can go this cycle. And then we'll really zoom in on the short-term price action on the daily charts, because there's a lot setting up right now that we really should keep a close eye on. So here's ADA on the weekly. What I really want to point out, this 20-week moving average in green, it's 39 cents. 39 cents. It's like a penny and a half away. It seems close, but with something like ADA, it could take a while. It could take longer than we really would want it to take, but it might happen very quickly as well. The 20-week moving average, just look at this. The 20-week moving average is the story in any crypto. It's the illustration of kind of bull market versus bear market. So here's ADA last cycle breaking above the 20-week moving average, and this was like the trigger that led to the parabolic gains. And this is a weekly chart, by the way. That was the trigger for ADA. Now check this out. As ADA is approaching that 20-week moving average right now, you know it's been a story of resistance at this area. That's a bear market illustration, right? Bull market illustration is higher highs and higher lows above that green line, the 20-week moving average. Bear market for any crypto, by the way, any chart. Bear market is lower lows and lower highs below the 20-week. So we obviously want to flip that at this point of the cycle. But we're around 150 days or so post Bitcoin halving, this yellow line, and ADA is approaching that area. What I want to point out to you is this. ADA, last cycle, if we kind of measure around 150 days post Bitcoin halving, where was ADA? Right here, testing below the 20-week moving average. And I should say, it was hovering below that area for pretty much months, if you look at that, before finally breaking out. And so this is like a 2 to 3 weeks away, historically, where we would see ADA break out. We are like right here or so, right? So we are getting close to a potential massive breakout for ADA. And keep in mind, not only are the charts lining up, but ADA at this moment last cycle, I think was down around 92%. At this moment, this cycle, it's down around 88%. So price is down around the same. Time frame is the same. Narrative is the same, meaning there's so much negativity about Cardano now. There was back then. It is what it is. Welcome to crypto. Welcome, especially if you're an ADA holder, to Cardano. That just is what it is. So many things are the same. So we can put it all aside and just say, hey, let's watch the indicators. Let's watch all of these things. And so there's the 20-week moving average around 39 cents. That is a macro area that ADA is very close to. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm absolutely watching to see if ADA kind of lights that fuse. If we go and zoom out right now, what I want to talk about is kind of the realistic potential for ADA this cycle. And I have a wide range, and maybe I'll do a full-length video kind of describing this, but I'm going to try and sum it up very quickly. $250 billion market cap, around $7. $500 billion market cap, around $14. I think this is a very realistic range for ADA, and it's very much also dependent on what kind of bull market we get. I actually posted a tweet or a post on X earlier today, kind of breaking this down. A soft target for crypto markets, total crypto market cap of 4 to 5 trillion, and a fun target, a grand slam target of around 12 to 13 trillion. So depending on where we fall into this range, we get this parabolic bull run and cryptos are just going crazy. I think a lot of that has to do with how high ADA goes on this chart. But I think this is a realistic range in either of those environments, $250 billion to $500 billion market cap. And for context, I use Ethereum a lot in terms of this anticipation. If you look, and we've said this a lot, Cardano is like one cycle behind Ethereum in terms of how long it's been around and in terms of charts. Last cycle, Ethereum broke $500 billion market cap. The cycle before that, it broke 100 billion, right? Over 100, so over 100 billion. If we look at ADA zoomed out, last cycle, this would be Ethereum 2 cycles ago, just around 100 billion. I forget exactly what it was, but around 100 billion, close to it. So is that to say this cycle, ADA is going to go and do what Ethereum did last cycle, 546 billion, 540 some billion? It doesn't mean that, not to me. And let me explain why. While I'll say that $500 billion market cap is possible, anything's possible, especially if Cardano just somehow just lands the right deal, gets the right narrative, rides this crazy wave to 500 billion. What I would say is, and this is why I have the range here, it's a stretch because listen, Ethereum was a first mover. It's Bitcoin, it's Ethereum. That's why we have Ethereum ETF now. We have institutions in watching Ethereum, and they are doing way more. They're showing way more interest in Ethereum than they are Cardano. Let's be realistic. And the other thing is this. We can look at historical cycles, but there's something we should keep in mind when we're looking back at this data. It's not just numbers. It's how many competitors are there? What kind of market share can Cardano get right now in terms of crypto today versus back here, right? And it's less because there's way more competitors. There's a lot of hype around other blockchains besides just Cardano and Ethereum. And it's just more so this cycle than it was last cycle. So I think it's a good idea to be way more conservative in all of these price predictions. I want to say $31 ADA, I think it's around $31, is $1 trillion market cap. I don't know when that will happen, but I will say, I think zoomed out for this blockchain Cardano, if things go well, it is 100% realistic in this growing massive economy of crypto that Cardano could make a huge name for itself, be a continued top blockchain and hit $1 trillion market cap. When that happens, I don't know. I can tell you for sure, I do not think it will be this cycle. So these are just some thoughts on ADA on this bull cycle. I should do a more in-depth dive of that range and really just discuss like the stepping stones to even get there, the stepping stones to break all-time high. So maybe I'll do that in a different video, but this is ADA on the daily chart. Some things I want to discuss. Let's start on this one. I have a little note here, answering the question. Why might this time be different? And what I'm talking about in terms of this time is you see this 20-day moving average crossing above or getting ready to cross above this 50-day moving average. We have a nice green candle today. We might actually, in around 8.5 hours, we might get that move, the 20 above the 50. It's a nice thing to see. What makes it different though? And what I mean by that is if you zoom out on a daily, what makes it different from this time? There was a move right there, 20 crossing above the 50, and actually ADA just fell. Here was another one, the 20 above the 50, and actually ADA just fell. Here's the difference in terms of what I'm seeing so far on this chart. Number one, look at the price of ADA getting separation while this is happening, right? Last time when this was happening, you see the 20-week crossing above the 50, ADA was like falling. And then the other thing is this time, when the 20 crossed above the 50 was so brief, there was no bullish type of momentum or price separation above these moving averages. This time is a little bit of a different type of thing happening. And I want to give you a very clear example. It's a lot more like this time. And this is back here in October as ADA exited its bear market low area. And you can see there's the 20-day crossing above the 50. And it did take a little bit of a downturn before, but look at that powerful move above the moving averages on the daily chart. Now, what I want to say is most powerfully, what connects these two, the move in October to the move that is playing out right now, is this. It's the weekly RSI. I have this point number 2. The weekly RSI, if we go to the weekly chart and we open up the RSI, the momentum oscillator, and we look at this is what connects the two moves. This was ADA breaking back above the 20-week moving average, and this is what it looks like on the RSI right here. So right now we have ADA approaching the 20-week moving average, similar to what happened back here. We have the RSI After all this consolidation, very similar to what's back here, all this consolidation on the slower momentum oscillator. And then we have obviously the 20-day crossing above the 50 and the 20-day crossing above the 50. So these are the two things, or these are the things that separate these two areas on the chart. Right now, the move that's potentially happening, we're going to dive into resistance, but this setup is looking way better right now compared to these areas, right? So, and it's very comparative to this area back here. So let's talk about that though. Like what are we watching for? Or at least what am I watching for? You go to the weekly chart or the daily chart from another angle. Here's what I'm watching for. Resistance right here at this kind of upper trend line. It's a midterm trend line going back to May or so. It's quite large, right? Resistance. And look where the resistance is of that lower high area. That is around 39 cents. What is 39 cents? 39 cents is a 20-week moving average. So for me, whether it's a macro chart, this weekly chart, the 20-week moving average, or if it's a zoomed in daily chart, 39 cents, that's the area to watch right now. That is the area to watch for some bullish confirmation. If we can see ADA just break through that area with power, then ADA might be onto something very strong. And I mean that from a macro perspective. I mean that from a Cardano bull market perspective, the thing that everybody's waiting for. 39 cents is a very key area for ADA right now. Going back to this chart, we might not get it as soon as we want. We want to see it today. We want to see it tested today, right? Come on, just move like a penny and a half. Let's go, ADA. Right up to here around 39 and a half cents. It might not happen. And right now, if you look at this, and actually, I'm just noticing this now. Can probably take our Fibonacci, the swing high here to swing low, and check it out. Right in that green area. ADA is within this lower high area of resistance. This is the first area for ADA to break out. The 786 line is right around 38 cents. The lower end is right around 36 and a half cents. And ADA is within that entire area of resistance. That's lower high resistance. So if ADA sees resistance there, I would anticipate a throwback to the moving averages, where we are getting the 20-day moving average cross above the 50. We're getting that entire setup. Throwbacks to that area as it happens are so common, right? So right now, that's all the way down here, around 34 to 35 cents, something to anticipate. And if we do get a breakout to the upside, it would be great to break above the Fibonacci. The higher end is around 38 cents. And if we break through the Fibonacci and we start testing this trend line, this is the area to watch, like 39 to 40 cents. And notice that's this previous swing high here. So ton of resistance on the short term, ton of resistance on the long term, but this could be a very bullish indicator, bullish confirmation type of indicator. And that's what I'll be watching on the short end on the macro. So these are my thoughts today, everybody. I figured I'd do a Cardano update for ADA holders out there. I know there's a lot. of you. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.